Good evening, all. We're now on Too Far Gone. I've had a couple of weeks break. It's now, gosh, into July, and the sun is shining, and it's been some beautiful days, and I needed to get out and have a little bit of sun. And we're back putting this together. It's been a couple of days. I had a pretty late night last night. I think it was at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I think by the time I was going to bed, I had a chat with Francis on Skippy, and he was just getting up and having an early morning cup of tea. And then a couple of hours after that, I had a note from Jilly, John Cogler's wife, to give John a call, and he wanted to talk to me about the project as well. So it's going great, and it's wonderful to reconnect with everybody after so many years away. And I hadn't spoken to John probably for a couple of years since I first moved to Nashville, and we'd had a chat back then, but you kind of lose touch after a while. And so it's been wonderful that this project is bringing us all back together and able to converse again. And when I was talking to John, he was mentioning that he got his old Ludwig kit back in shape, and he was very pleased with how that was sounding, and was hinting about how nice it would be for me to hear it, which I'd certainly love to. So we'll see what's going to happen in the future, and hopefully we'll be able to at some point all be in the same room again with a bit of luck. So I'm going to go through this. What I've tried to do so far with the mix is to lean more emphasis on Francis's driving rhythm parts with Richard on, and whilst I'm using a lot of the dubs we did. I mean, Pip did some arrangements for the brass which are pretty neat. He played a bottleneck slide part in unison with the brass, and we added, there was some tambourine tracks and conga tracks, but I've kind of held the tambourines back, and I've not used the congas, and in a way tried to play, a little less emphasis on the overdubs that we did on this, and more in just keeping up the kick drum, the bass, and as I say, those basic guitars. So I'm going to solo the kit up with Alan's bass, which I'm using predominantly, his cabinet sound on this mix. So I'm just going to run the bass and kit and the guitars that the first. In fact, it's 2 tracks of Francis and 1 track of Richard on this. And I'm going to try not to ramble, because I was told off for making some people fall asleep watching my videos. Now with John's snare, I've actually added another sample in with that, so it's his original, and it's another snare sample triggered from his original sound. Okay, I've just brought in the 2 tracks of Frank Ricotti's tambourine. So that's pretty much the driving essence of how it originally came together. I'm going to bring everything in the track now.
Win or you lose, no one cares if you're right or you're wrong. You only win when you're too far gone. You're running wild, living out your fantasy life.
Here's the brass part with with Pip's guitar. I'm going to solo that up as well. And this is 2 tracks of Francis's an overdub, which is the flanged effect of the what we called affectionately the electric tart, was this foot pedal that Richard had, and Pip had one as well, that was called the Electric Mistress, and Richard fell in love with it. But on this one, Francis had nicked it for a while and did these two tracks you just heard. And here the solo, and this is a combination of mixed down, tracked up of multiple parts of Richard and Francis playing these parts, and we did a double track of it as well. You can hear that come in on the left now. Then these are the backing vocals just on the end section of the song. Okay, that's it. We'll just pop back to the head and I'll solo out Andy's organ track. Just waiting for everything to roll up. Here you go. Alan's vocal was double tracked and mixed down, and then I've added a slap echo on that, just bouncing, pinging off the left and right side with his main lead vocal straight down the middle of the mix.
Don't wait forever, it's too far gone. You say goodbye, you never listen, you couldn't be wrong. And now it's over, it's not so easy to say it's all gone. If you wanna play a bad game, you gotta be a good player. It don't matter if you win or you.
So that's the bass cabinet. Then the thinner sound is the DI, which just adds a lot of click to it, to the basic warmthness of the cabinet there. Back to those guitars. Frank Ricotti on tambourine. And here's the electric tart.
You only win when you're too far gone. You're running wild, living out your fantasy life. And everybody knows the game by the look in your eyes.
Then this is the end backing vocals.
Too far gone, too far gone.
Which is multiple tracks, and then we bounced it down to stereo there, and that's a pretty reasonable overview of Too Far Gone. So I'm gonna print this one across now and then put it to bed and myself and then get ready and think we might do either Baby Boy or Dirty Water. I'm not sure. I'll see how the mood takes me in the morning when I get up. But hope you've enjoyed that little overview of that one, and that makes it number 5 so far. So we're moving along. We're getting to almost the halfway point, and I've been listening back to what I've done over the last sort of 6 weeks, and I'm really happy. And Rock is Rolling, and especially, is sounding really, really fantastic. And Who Am I? And Rockin' All Over the World. I'm delighted with how that's turned out again. So I think we're in, so far, everything's going in really, really good shape. It's, as you can gather by the amount of time, I'm not rushing it through. I'm taking as much time as necessary as to fully evaluate everything that we did and bring it back into a different sonic medium than we had before. So it's Precious Pup signing out.